Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, as expected, Bitcoin is turning around to the downside. It is back below 45k. We saw it in the video earlier today that the momentum indicators were turning to the downside. We already saw it in the last few days as we saw the bearish MACD crossover on the 8-hour chart, and as Bitcoin did not manage to push above the 200-day moving average. So we're going to take a look at that in a little bit more detail. But while Bitcoin is going down, it has a major effect on altcoins. That is what I talked about in pretty much all altcoin videos in the last few days, that we do expect here a further correction. Terra Luna made an update yesterday, said this could have already been the run to the upside, and we see downside of 4% today. Solana, we expect prices head lower. So all of these updates should have prepared you for what is coming now. Near Protocol, amazing. We took profits at around $17.40, I think, now heading down as well. That was one of my sell orders that triggered. And what I really am happy about is, and I will do an update later about that today, is here Silica, which is holding fairly well actually. There was a little bit of downside, but it is holding fairly well. I did enter a position today pretty much at the level where we currently are, but it is already in the meantime was around 14 cents again. So I've made the channel members aware of that. So that seems to be holding quite well in general. So let's take a look here at Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is heading down, but we need to distinguish here between my expectations on different time frames, because while we talked about this upcoming correction that it would be quite likely here in the last few days, for example, we looked at the 8-hour chart. If I remember correctly, we saw here, we saw that bearish crossover on the MACD again, increasing further down. We already spotted it when we were here at the top. So that was already a first indicator, because the momentum indicators typically, or the oscillators, they shift from the lower time frames to the longer ones. So of course you can have a more bullish view on the, let's say, on the daily, but when it is heading down on the 8-hour chart, it is likely that you're going to see this on the daily chart as well. And I remember many days ago we talked about how interesting, or that we need to see now how these changing indicators, for example on the daily, when we saw the first light green bar here pretty much a week ago, I told you that we need to see how will the price really react to it. We can be certain that it is going to go down, but how much is impossible to say until you really see it work out. At the moment, it seems like quite a bit of an impulsive move down, but we are still holding support. So for now, my primary expectation remains that we are going to go up further to at least 51k. But to do that, we need to break the 200-day moving average. If we're not doing that, I think the price remains restricted down here below that resistance box here that you can see on the chart, that I've been having on the chart for a while now, which starts at 47.5k. This is where it starts. This is where the daily candles closed here around the 30th of March. And at the upside of that, you've got the 200-day moving average. But even then, the price needs to break out of the channel in which it is, which would be here around 49.2k, or here, actually more around 49k. So as the price failed to break above these important levels, it had it harder than I expected to move higher. I originally expected, as it broke the 45.8k, I did expect the price to move higher sooner. Now it did reverse down and is now touching that support zone as well again. This is the zone which is around, which starts pretty much at 44.2k and goes all the way up to 44.5. So this is where we touched again today, and we were basically rejected. It was brought up again. And this is where we now need to see, is the price going to head lower or not? I can't tell you now if this support is going to break. The way it is coming down at the moment, I would say there's a good chance it will break it further to the downside, but there is the next support then here along the way at 42.7k. So if we break the 42.7k, and that is what I already mentioned in previous videos, if we break below that, then I'm very certain that we are, or very certain, but then I would reactivate and make much more likely again the original primary scenario, the previous primary one, which is the sell-off straight away. So it's difficult at the moment because we are in a phase of uncertainty again. So Bitcoin needs to make that decision, breaking below 42.7 or moving above the 200-day moving average, and then it is more likely to move into one of these directions. But as you know, the expectation in the end, so with whatever way we go, either straight away down or first up and then down, the expectation would be straight away to in the end anyway, to get into this target area between 20 and 29k. That is and remains my expectation. I remain primarily of the view that we have not finished the correction yet. There is a tiny chance that we have, but there is always a probability for something. There's also a probability to go to zero, of course. So just for all the new channel members, it is, or everybody who's watching these videos for the first time, just because I tell you my primary and also the alternative expectation, it doesn't mean that, you know, there is no other possibility. Yes, there are possibilities, but I find them so unlikely that I'm not really going to mention them. But of course, we need to understand, you know, Bitcoin could at any point also go to zero, even though the probabilities for that is probably ridiculously low. And also, similarly, there is a chance that Bitcoin goes to new all-time highs from here, that the low is already in. But again, I find that very, very unlikely for various reasons that I explained in previous videos and that I will mention from time to time. But from now that we have seen now for the first time here again, this bearish crossover on the daily, I think the last couple of candles are now in the red and it is going down quite rapidly. I would now primarily expect here in the short term further dropping prices for now, but we need to bear in mind we're getting close to support. So here's it where it's going to decide if the momentum is shifting again. Currently, can we see a momentum shift? So certainly not on the daily, certainly not on the 8-hour chart. I think we might know, not even on the 4-hour chart. So as soon as you see this changing, it could indicate another push in the other direction. But for now, all the MACDs on the 8-hour, the daily and the 4-hour chart, they're heading further down. And therefore, my primary expectation here in the very short term remains that we head further down. And as I said, we can go down to 42.7. And this is again where it's then deciding for the medium term, which of these two scenarios is it going to be? Are we going to go up first because it could turn around down here again and go to the upside, or are we going to go down straight away? So no, it's not up or down, because that's always what I read in the comments. That's what some people just like to mention. Yeah, of course, it can go up and down, of course. But I'm very specific here. I give you two alternatives here and the very specific levels above or below. I believe the price is going to head into one of these directions. And in the end, the scenario for both of them, or the outcome, will be the same. Yeah, so that is pretty much where I am here with Bitcoin. My view remains that we're going to head here into this yellow target area between 20 and 29k. And yeah, this is my view for Bitcoin. I'll keep you updated certainly about Bitcoin. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit a like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.